All right, we're live. Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2.
Can everybody?
Don't want to hit mute. Yeah, we'll see. We're testing out some new microphones here, so let us know if you can hear us.
Looks like we're getting audio there.
Yeah.
Receiver showed it's doing it.
Yeah, we'll wait for some people to filter in here. It appears YouTube did send out the notification.
I got it.
So,
Morning.
good morning. Can you hear us?
Happy Father's Day.
How do we sound?
Sounds good. Does it sound any different than normal?
Yeah.
More sounds good. We're up to 10 here.
Yep. All right, so we're trying out some new microphones. So thanks to Jonathan's dad, number one, and Rode. This is a wireless Go 2 that we're trying out. These things are supposed to be just ridiculously awesome. So when I'm doing the live streams, we're testing them out this morning, but these are going to be good for the live streams at the bowling alley while we're actually practicing, so I don't have to come back and talk straight into the phone or whatever. I can just there's a little lapel mic that'll be able to stick on there and just clip this on my belt here, and so you can hear all my grumbling.
It's got a little mic spot right there at the top, so that's kind of where it's hearing us from. So.
Yep. Testing. So thanks to Jonathan's dad for getting us in touch with these. Thanks for Rode. Thanks to Rode. These things should really be awesome for like I said, the live streams more than anything else. When we're sitting here and we got the microphone here or whatever else, but when I'm doing a live stream or maybe even some live videos or something like that, I'll be able to talk into these the whole time. So you'll be able to hear exactly what Angel and I are saying, and Jonathan and
whoever else.
Whoever else. So we'll have to watch it a little bit more. Normally I kind of grumble to myself, and then I come back and collect my thoughts and say what I'm saying into the microphone or into the phone, but
not no more.
Yeah. But yeah, these things are supposed to be just insane. So so far the setup was ridiculously easy. So if you're in the market for anything like this, obviously they sound good, and all we had to do was just plug it into the computer and click.
We were running.
Super easy stuff.
We're starting our Father's Day morning off stream with coffee stout. I believe we've had this one before.
We're drinking coffee.
Got to have coffee to start. We've got a couple others in here. So, all.
Maystel, you're bigger than she is.
They both had a stare down. That was great.
Yeah.
So, I guess you might want that.
Probably.
So, good morning, everybody.
Morning,
happy Father's Day. Mm-hmm. Once again, we're gonna sit here and talk some bowling with you.
Yeah.
On a second Sunday morning.
Yeah. Or if you're a single mother too, happy Father's Day to you.
Yeah.
Hey, as long as all the single dads get Mother's Day too, I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
My wife gives me dirty looks here.
I didn't say it.
Inside joke.
I laughed though, so I'm probably in trouble.
Anyway.
Morning, Mom. How are you?
Yeah. Mistle dog. We took the dogs to the vet yesterday. Aspen and Missile did better than we expected. Aspen weighs 65 pounds.
Really?
She weighs 47.
Really?
So they're the same size, but Aspen's got her by, and the doctor.
Where is Aspen? Upstairs.
Yeah, we call her Piggy.
Pig.
But we said, oh yeah, she probably needs to lose a couple pounds. He's like, she's just stocky. He's like, as long as you can feel the rib cage, you can feel the hip bones back there, whatever else. It's like, yeah, she's just built. She's built like a tank.
She is built. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? Just somebody must be thinking about me.
Yep.
All right.
Ray, you want to be on YouTube?
Come here.
It is Father's Day.
Come here. You want to say, watch out?
Mm-hmm.
Come here for a minute.
Yep.
You got to sit still, though.
Yep. It's Father's Day, so.
Good morning. Say hi.
Yep. Sarasota, Florida.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yep.
Probably just as hot there as it is here.
Yep. Happy Dad's Day. My dad's on a
No,
golf
just-
course in Wichita. They're having a
Okay, sit still.
nationwide event or whatever the PGA Tour.
Yeah, is it like a senior event or something out there?
No, it's a nationwide tour. He normally does. It's kind of like
The Corn Ferry Tour. I think
huh?
that's what they call it now, the Corn Ferry.
Oh
Tour.
yeah.
Yeah. Every time I hear that name, it cracks me up.
Mm. I have my copy too.
And mine is over
Yeah.
here, but I can't get to it because I've got.
This is Raylan, who will be adorable until she learns how to drive.
Don't mind me.
I mean, you can't lose any more hair, so
True that.
that's the good news.
That's very true. I can go gray though. I haven't started that yet. So
Yep.
all right, go over here for a minute.
Yeah.
We'll have you back in a minute.
And happy Father's Day to everybody out there. Of course, we've said a couple times now.
Yep.
If you're new, we have new microphones. Thanks to Jonathan's dad for getting us in contact and getting these awesome mics from Rode. Thanks to Rode for supplying us with the wireless go-tos. These are going to be really helpful for live streams when we're actually out there bowling. So you can hear what I'm talking or hear what I'm saying the whole time, which is probably not a good thing. But
Rode is actually really popular with on the top of the video cameras, the boom mics,
oh yeah,
longer, skinnier mics. That's their main popular microphone, but these are really becoming
super easy to set up.
Yeah, it was really good.
Anyway, we're going to talk about what we were going to talk about.
Letting people trickle in here. Here we go.
Once again, we're drinking Brickaway Brewery Coffee Vanilla Stout.
Just to have our morning coffee first.
Yep, it is a coffee stream after all.
It was at one point.
So last week, if you missed it, we talked about a bunch of different things. We talked about a bunch of the different basics of bowling and how it's mostly experience driven. I mean, because everybody can explain things they can explain the same thing in different ways. They understand things different ways, and it's largely experience driven. It's just the unfortunate reality of bowling is most people try to make it mathematical because it is hard to understand. It's hard to understand a lot of the concepts because a lot of the stuff's invisible. You can't see the oil.
Unless you're on TV.
Yeah. Reading ball reaction can sometimes be pretty tricky because there's a bunch of things that may seem contradictory or counterintuitive.
Yep.
Whatever else, like using a strong ball with surface on dry lanes. That doesn't make any sense at all. But sometimes it makes the ball reaction controllable.
Yeah, 100%.
So there's all kinds of different things that you can do and
learning when to do something like that and when not to. So.
Yeah. So this week we're going to talk about arsenal selection, kind of what we go through. And my wife put something the best that I've heard it the other day, and it's something that I've tried to explain. But basically, when there's no such thing as a bad bowling ball, it's either going to fit your game and what you do or not.
Correct. Because just because it doesn't fit for you, it's gonna it'll look good for somebody else. So.
Yeah. So when people say, "Oh, I got this ball and it sucks," it's like, no. What you need to do is you need to figure out what the ball wants to do,
right,
and then figure out whether or not that fits your game and the conditions. And if it doesn't, you have a bad matchup.
And it's gonna happen. So, you're not gonna match up to every single bowling ball it's ever produced. So
yeah. Yep.
And that goes the same thing if you're a staff player.
To match up to everything, buddy.
Goes the same way if you're a staff player. You just because it's got an S on it or it's got a M on it doesn't mean that it's going to always fit us. So. Yeah,
and again, the other thing too, when people say, "Well, I don't like hybrids, so I'm not going to get this ball," well, that doesn't have anything to do with anything.
No.
So talk about. I'm going to kick this over to you first. So see what kind of stuff you want to. You can come sit out. You can come be on YouTube again if you want to.
She's just kind of bouncing around here.
You're cuter than we are, so
true that. Yeah, just sit still.
Yep.
She just kind of stared at something on the screen.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
It's just like when she makes her own videos in the camera, so now she's seeing herself.
Her hair is a hot mess.
Yeah, well, that's just par for the course, I think.
Sorry. So what were you going to say? You were going to kick the
So kick it to you. And what kind of stuff do you like to see? So explain like a go-to ball, or what's your...
Well, okay. Venom Shock.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to go to something, should we start with just like a house shot?
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm just going to go to a place, house shot, say I've never been there before, I'm always going to take something like a Venom Shock, which is going to be that predictable control motion. I'm going to take a stronger ball like the Jackal Ghost, which is going to give you, still stronger. It's giving you a stronger look, but it's going to be smooth at the same time. I really like seeing smooth shapes out of almost anything, unless it's absolutely not needed. But so it takes something like a Venom Shock, a Jackal Ghost, a Fatal Venom is another one that usually with me anywhere I go. Nowadays, sit still, please. You're making me lose train of thought. I like to take. I'm trying to think what else I take in there. She's sniffing me. This is really awkward.
Yeah.
You'll have to come back to me. This is.
Yeah, you're distracted. So basically, when people talk about benchmark bowling balls, benchmark can mean two different things. It can either be a benchmark type ball, which is going to be a Venom Shock,
Yes.
IQ Tour Solid, Rubicon, even something like that. That's kind of it's kind of a controllable, versatile look, but at the same time, what may be a benchmark for you might be different than what an actual benchmark ball is.
Correct.
So when somebody says benchmark, they're not necessarily meaning a specific type of ball. It's just whatever ball that you're the most comfortable with is naturally your benchmark ball. Now there's some that are, like I said, designed to be a little bit more versatile for giving whatever else. They're just naturally going to fit a wide variety of people on a wide variety of conditions. They're not designed to go long and turn sideways or to be really early and smooth. They're just kind of a in the middle, one size fits all type thing.
So to finish it out, now I've got kind of train of thought again. I'd take something like a Ripcord Flight, which is going to give you an IQ Tour Solid type of look where it's kind of slow and smooth. And then I'd take something like a Jackal Flash, which is still going to be really strong, but at the same time it's round. So and the Jackal Flash, those that have seen me throw it, it looks pretty good for me. So
So
it gives you different shapes and lengths and or different reactions down lane.
So basically, you want to find out what type of ball fits you the best, or what kind of ball you kind of gravitate towards, or what kind of
think faces. I see you right making faces. All I can see in the bottom of the screen is they're going.
Yeah.
We got a Ray Giggle on the show.
Yeah.
Say hi, James.
Yeah.
You just said good morning.
Yeah. So what's kind of interesting for me right now is I think that my kind of benchmark ball right now is the Dark Code, because I can figure out it's one of the stronger balls that I have now, but it works on everything. It's a nice blend of hook, of length, of shape. And so it's going to tell me, pulling that ball out of the bag first is going to tell me what direction I need to go. Do I need more cover? Do I need more strength? Which it's hard to get a lot more strength, but I'd have to get that out of surface, really. Or if I need to go stronger, sharper, smoother, whatever else. Before that, kind of my benchmark had been something like a ProMotion Idle Synergy, something kind of strong but controllable. And the Synergy, even though it's got a lot of back end, it's still pretty round and controllable. It lets me keep things in front of me.
It is pretty round,
Gets further down the lane and pops a little bit more, but it lets me keep my angles kind of in front of me.
Right. Did you say ProMotion yet?
Yeah, ProMotion Idle Synergy, something like that.
Sorry, I got distracted there.
Yeah. But there was somebody that had asked me a question the other day. It sent me something on Facebook Messenger, and was talking about, okay, well, I've got this ball, I've got this ball, I've got this ball. Would the UFO alert fit? And I think he's got like a nuclear cell and a Zen, and he's got a phase 3 and something else. And it's a bunch of stuff that's all kind of right there together because it's strong, it's strong, shiny, medium to medium heavy strength covers. But at the same time, I told him, if you're comfortable with that, then changing tiny little things within that kind of same window of ball reaction, like if you would do with your Ghost and the Ripcord Flight and the VIP Affliction and the Venom Shock, they're very similar. The Affliction's a hybrid, right?
Yes, it is.
The other 3 are solids.
Yep.
And so, but they're all in the same kind of general window of usability. They're all fairly smooth and controllable. I say that the Ghost is the firmest at the break point. It's not necessarily flippy, but it's the most. I guess the Venom Shock is pretty.
Venom Shock's pretty early.
Yeah,
it's pretty early and flippy. I mean, for what it is, that ball wants to go left. In your case, right? But
yeah, all these brands under one umbrella leads to massive overlap. Yeah.
The Ghost is still going to be your sharpest left, though. Your sharpest at the break point.
Yeah. But you've got what you've got there is a similar idea that you're comfortable with, but with small variations in friction response, length. There you got a few different shapes too. Like if you want to come up the back of the Venom Shock and get it to stop, you can get it to do that. You can get it to be pretty continuous too. Something like the Ripcord and the Ripcord Flight, the VIP Affliction, are going to be more kind of that continuous climbing type motion.
Correct. Plus the more we have that VIP Affliction drilled, it's going to be early. It's going to be slow. It's going to be early, but still slow.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and you can use different layouts in there too to kind of adjust the shapes. And I'm somebody that doesn't like to mess with hook potential a whole bunch.
Yeah.
I'll take some stuff. I'll take something strong. I'll take something weak just in case. But and especially on the left side of the lane, everything's going to be fresh. So really all I'm dealing with, it's a different game than the right side, because you're taking stuff, okay, well, I might need strong stuff to start off with. I'm going to ball down to this, ball down to this. If I have to get deep, I'm going to have this. If I can stay straighter, I'm going to have this. On the left side of the lane, I'm going to have fresh oil the entire time. So I don't ever really find myself in situations where I need weaker stuff unless it's just a really, really dry pattern. Or if we go to somewhere like Tulsa and it's on just a dry house shot, I'll take some weaker stuff.
Which the Forged Flare is going with me next year for that, because the Forged Flare is another one that's hard to pull out of my bag just because it's so controllable and predictable. But for me, anyways, because take like a Tour KC game 7 and 8 where I'm in a bigger ball throwing a Forged Flare when other guys are throwing weaker stuff.
Yeah.
So it's hard not to take that anywhere else, but you only want to take like 6 balls and one of them being a spare, it's kind of hard. So
yeah, the way, and this is another good thing for the Arsenal selection topic, is because the way I build my bag is going to be different from the way he builds his, and I've still got to get that through my own head where I'm going to take this and this and that and whatever else, but it's going to be for me to find something and then stay on top of it rather than taking something thinking about, okay, well, this looks good in transition, or this looks good here. If I have to get deep, this looks good, but I don't have transition. That's just not a thing. And if there is transition, most of the time it's a little bit of carry down, or the back end just get a little softer. So, and most of the time in that case, once again, we were talking about this last week, but digging through carry down isn't really a thing. There's a lot of people that'll ask, okay, well, I bowl with somebody that throws urethane. What's a ball that's going to help me dig through carry down? Well, nothing digs through carry down.
Yeah, no.
It's easier to just use it as hold or use it as push. And this is something that that Storm B28 and I were talking about on my ill-fated stream where I threw it like an idiot for 3 hours. They were talking about how his team's always had a lot of success at nationals the last several years, and I think they're in the top 9 for team right now or something like that. So that's just ridiculous. And he's got a lot of top 20 finishes for the team. And he said that their strategy most of the time is to throw plastic up 15 so that they build a shim, or they build hold in the middle of the lane. And so throwing plastic, urethane, whatever else, people complain about urethane carry down, but people complain about urethane carry down specifically because they try to cut through it or try to find back end motion through carry down.
And that's definitely not the right way to go about it.
It's not, you want to treat it as hold, or you want to treat it as a shim.
Or go around
basically.
You can also go around it too, depending on where it's at down the lane too.
Yeah. It depends on where the break point's at too, but
Clint, I think that bag's pretty good, man. So just respond to his question.
so, yeah.
Let's see here. Take an Angel bag. What would it be her thought process on something like that?
Who?
Angel.
Oh. Yeah.
See if you can get it right. Go for it.
Huh?
See if you can get it right. Go
Just
for it.
say a house shot that she's never been to. What would be the thought
IQ.
process?
We're going to take an IQ, and then we're going to take an IQ, and we're going to take an IQ and another IQ and a different IQ.
A green one.
Yeah.
A
So
blue one.
No, you can't leave out the teal or the
UFO
teal
alert.
badger.
Oh yeah, the teal badger's got to go.
mhm.
It's got to
Yeah.
go.
All right, and we have Julia Bond through surface from out, because I bet my life savings she is hitting 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that's the other thing that we were talking about too. It's like,
Sorry.
well,
Yeah, no, it is.
we're burning
Yeah,
the ditch to build a bumper or whatever, and oh yeah, I'm hitting 3 board. Well, yeah, laying it down on 10, and you're hitting anywhere between 3 and 8. But
I'm just trying to think her bag here. It's going to be an IQ Nano, teal badger. Call me crazy, a UFO alert,
You want to play something?
an emerald,
she likes the alert.
an emerald, and I'm
IQ.
not sure. All plastic,
Yeah.
and I'm not sure how big you are on the promotion. Would a promotion be one?
For a house shot, if it kind of depends on the house.
True.
But yeah,
Unknown that you've never been bowled at.
I might take the trend over.
Trend, yeah. Okay.
It depends. Like I said, it depends on this. Like if somebody said it's a high friction
Like Summit?
versus, yeah, like I've thrown the trend at Summit.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
It's,
I don't know that I would take.
I bet the trend looks pretty good at Summit for a lot of people.
Yeah, that's a good point too, and that's kind of fair for the people that say that they're burning at 3, 4, 5.
You ready
Well,
for another one?
yeah, if you have a lot of left to right in your game, or you generally,
Let's do that.
I like even on the
Okay.
left side, it's still my head works best when I can kind of feather the shot, or I have some room to work with. Playing just right up the rail, it's not something, especially because I have slower speed. And that's part of the thing is I like really controlling my ball roll, and it's hard to do when you're playing from straighter, because when you're playing from straighter, you've got to be firmer with it to get it down the lane. You've got to kind of lay out of it, but you still have to kind of catch it at the bottom. Liz Johnson, Norm Duke, they're ridiculously good at it, of getting the ball down the lane, but catching it with their fingers in the right way to get a roll on the ball that's going to carry when it hits the pocket. I tend to try to dump it or shove it to get it down the lane, and then you're not getting any kind of a good roll on the bowling ball. So
I just rinsed them out.
yeah, why do we buy all this new stuff if P2 IQ high road's all we need? And that's the thing is, it's sometimes for that just doesn't work for some people, which is really weird, because the better I'm getting on the left side, the more I'm finding that I like sharper stuff.
Actually, here, I'll keep it
Okay.
for it. I don't know why I was getting it.
So what I've really found out, so what I'm carrying right now, I'm carrying the Dark Code, the UFO Alert,
That's all.
the Idle Synergy, the Phase G, which is an overseas phase. It's AX16 hybrid, which is the hybrid version of the original phase cover. Idle Synergy ProMotion. So once again, Dark Code, UFO Alert, Idle Synergy, ProMotion, Phase G, and what was the other one? I just forgot. Yeah, I don't throw it much. Dark Code, UFO Alert, Phase G, Idle Synergy, ProMotion. I can't remember what the other one is.
What, your bag?
Yeah, and it was the Idle Synergy I was forgetting the other day.
Switching to a new beer here.
I don't know.
Grabbed by my mom yesterday.
Oh, I
grabbed
don't
a
pro.
few random ones. It's the Union
Yeah.
Jack IPA. So we'll see how it goes. Thank you, Mom. How's that one?
It's really good. Firestone's really good stuff.
Oh yeah, that
Their
is.
Mind Haze and their Mind,
Wow.
their,
That's a smooth IPA.
yeah.
I finally got to try at the Yard House the beer that's taller than me. So.
Yeah. So, what I'm finding, like I was saying earlier, my benchmark ball right now is the Dark Code. It's a really,
I would say,
really
yeah.
strong
Yep.
cover, and it's pretty responsive. It's pretty flippy, but it's something that I can float out of. It's nothing that I feel like I have to help or get to do anything. I can just float right out of it, and it's got all the ball motion in the world, so I can control it easier instead of trying to create ball motion physically.
And you
Which
think
is
it's going to be around a while, that ball?
Yeah. And if it's not, I'm going to have cases and cases and cases of it because it's the Staffer hype guy. But it's every single. I've had it for about a month, and I know that the release date got delayed. They let us start throwing stuff.
July 2nd, right?
Yeah, they let us start throwing stuff about 3 weeks before release date, but the release date was originally 2-3 weeks ago, or it's actually the original release date was Friday, but they backed it up 2 weeks
Because of production, right?
yeah
Something like
production's
Yeah.
crazy backed up, and Motive's having the same problem. They're half the stuff's on back order, and so it's just everybody. California unlocked and Oregon unlocked, and a lot of places got back to bowling here recently, and the Zen's been popular, so production's just gone nuts. And so they had a big wave of things hit all at the same time. So the Zen got really popular. So a lot of people were buying that.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden there was this big sales boom pretty well across the industry.
Mm-hmm.
And so they've added production lines, they've added shifts, they've hired dozens of people just trying to crank this stuff out. And I don't know why they're trying to still get new stuff out, but it's if you're not caught up and you can't.
We're actually getting in better shape than we're in better shape ball wise than what we were. Where we're hurting is like manufacturing of bags and things like that.
We're out of bags too.
Bags are killing us.
So
it's a good problem to have, though. So.
Yeah.
All right.
And that's a good question. Yeah, Dark Code is slower and more forward for me. I can control it more than a Zen, and that's what Storm HQ has. SPLs, which is a lower friction surface. Plus, they normally use beaten path, I believe, which is 42 feet. So right off the bat, it's lower friction surface than most people see, and it's a longer pattern than most people see. So everything to HQ looks like it's going to go 3 or 4 feet longer and boom harder. So mine is quite round. And
it is really round.
Yeah, it's
kind of like my Flash.
Mm-hmm.
It's exactly what shape wise. That's what I see out of it for you.
Yeah. And so, I mean, that's what makes it so easy for me is that I can just float right out of it.
Yeah.
I can just give it a nice, easy roll. And, so it's become kind of my benchmark ball.
What's your favorite ball in 2021 so far on your 3 brands there?
Dark Code.
There's a Dark Code. I would say VIP Affliction for me.
So,
41, we use Beaten Path in my league. Beaten Path is actually what we bowled singles and doubles on in Springfield. And that was fun because that building's just ridiculous. Enterprise, sorry.
Yeah. Anyway, I was talking about something.
We were just talking about, you got into the Dark Code and you kind of just lost your thought.
It smells great.
Luke says, Dark Code good.
Mm-hmm.
Dark Code good.
So, yeah, we were talking about kind of catching up with production and stuff like that. But
it's an industry problem.
Oh, yeah, that's what we were – that's what I was talking about.
Yeah.
I was saying it's found its way out of the bag, and I've used it at tournaments, league pretty well every week.
Yep.
The alert's a nice step down off of it, but I find myself pulling it out all the time. So it's kind of becoming my benchmark ball, so to speak, right now. I can get, if I need something with a little bit more shape, which I can just get on a little bit more. I can square up a little bit more or something. I've been able to make physical adjustments to really dial it in.
Yep.
Rather than having to add shape, which the alert's a little bit more responsive, but it's still pretty round. So it's more of a hook potential step down. So if the dark is just too much, or it's just too much across the board, then the alert I can step right down into it. The synergy is a little bit quicker, So if I need to play straighter, I need something just a little bit quicker, I can go to that. The Idol Pro is a little bit earlier and smoother, but still with a pretty responsive formula. And I think that's something that James touched on earlier, is that it's not all just shiny versus dull or pearl hybrid solid.
Right. Yeah.
And this is something we talked about last week, is that cover formulas play a really, really big role in, shape, friction response, or friction response versus friction created is something else that people talk about too. So,
James, I don't know. I said it at the beginning of the stream, but I can say it again. For me, it would be a Venom Shock. If you're including spare ball in the 6th, it'd be a plastic, a Jekyll Ghost, Jekyll Flash, Ripcord Flight, maybe a VIP Affliction. So,
yeah, when Angel just said about the IQs, we were talking about her arsenal selection. She's got, I'd say that she's actually a little bit rev heavy. She's pretty close to matched, but her speed's on the slower side, and so something that she can roll and kind of walk in is going to look pretty good for her. So the IQ line just matches up with her perfectly.
I think it's just that shape.
Finally, just drilled her an IQ solid a couple months ago, the first one she's ever had. But
The
she
weird
loves,
one?
yeah,
Yeah.
she loves the emerald. She's got
The velocity course does well for me too, because the phases have been good.
yeah. It just normally those are a little strong. So
To drill, you're gonna drill phase 2? Come on,
it's got purple in it.
Oh my god!
So she likes the original phase.
Eyes on thanks.
She liked her phase 3. It was a little too much ball for her. But the IQs just kind of fit, because most of the time they're medium strength covers.
No,
So
phase 3 just doesn't like the color.
oh yeah, she hates purple.
And it's
So
great.
yeah, and grape. She didn't like grape either. So
That's right. It was great,
I
wasn't it?
had to start getting picky somehow. Otherwise, I was going to keep everything.
yeah,
So I know it sounds nitpicky, but if I didn't, I'd have 50 balls down there.
so
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah,
Just gotta kind of shove them away. At some
Yeah,
point.
I had.
so IQ Tour Solid, her IQ Tour Rising, which is an overseas IQ Fusion. Then she's got she's got the Teal 30.
Badger, right?
Yeah, she's got the Teal Badger. She has an IQ Tour Nano. She has an IQ Tour Nano Pearl.
And then obviously the emerald.
Yeah, and then definitely the Emerald, and we've got several more of those in the basement. Plus, I've got a couple IQ Pinks. I probably won't let
Still
her have
can't
one
believe
of
they
those,
got rid of
so.
those.
Yeah, but the IQ Pink is an IQ Fusion. It's overseas, but it looks better and it smells better. So
And I got the Hustle Hunter recently.
Yeah,
And I did
See,
take
this
it
is-
out.
yeah. The Hustle 100. Have you thrown it much?
So the phase 3 is an interesting case of that cover not liking friction. That it's a really responsive cover stock, but it burns up and gives up hardcore on friction. I think R2S actually responds better to friction.
Yeah.
It
I have no doubt
doesn't
about
give
that.
up so much, and the phase 3 does. If you have too much friction, it's just going to give up. I actually have a 4-inch pin on one of my lefty ones, and it helps significantly with both the blending and with the loss of energy down lane. But the first one I had right-handed, I put a pretty weak. I was like 5 1/4 pin to pat, pin down.
On the phase 3?
Yeah, because I'd thrown that cover on the Intense Fire and on the Virtual Tour exclusive, and so I already had some history with it. I'm like, this stuff's I've got to slow the core down a little bit, or
Right.
it's gonna be too much, and that's what. And it's been kind of hit or miss for a lot of people, and that's what some people say. Well, it either hooks or doesn't hook. It's like, well, no, it either turns sideways or it burns up,
Right.
which is letting you know that there's too much friction for it. But by doing a super weak pin down on the right side, that slowed the core down enough. It reduced the flare enough that it helped blend that out, and so it helped kind of reduce that sensitivity that it had. And then on the left side of the lane, 4-inch pin up, so it's something I can float out of, and that again It flares a bunch. The layout's continuous, but it's going to be really strong or really, flare a bunch. But when it flares a bunch, it's going to get traction, or it's going to start picking up earlier. So it's not going to just hydroplane all the way down the lane and hit friction, jerk, and stand up.
Did you like that layout on it when you threw it? Because that was right-handed, right?
Right-handed was the pin. Yeah, I love my phase 3 right-handed.
You liked it left-handed too.
I like it left-handed. I actually took it out the other day of the team pattern to see kind of what it was going to look like. So that's what I was thinking, is that something like that's got a little bit of shape, but it's still pretty controllable, stronger cover formula. But if we use some urethane and we tame the back ends down a little bit, it's something that's going to be kind of in the best of.
You had
all kinds of
99 with
worlds,
one out of the box though, didn't you? There at on the left side.
Yeah,
that's what I thought. Or that's what I thought, but I'm letting you pick the next one out.
Okay.
You don't have to chug it. I'm just telling you, I'm letting you pick the next one out.
It's Father's Day. I can chug it if I want.
And I was wrong. Thank you to my mom and Woody. Appreciate it.
Yep.
For the Father's Day gift there.
Yeah. This is fantastic.
It is really good. We're kind of getting a couple weeks off here from bowling. So
yeah. So it was nice to
kind of get the body a break a little bit, and now you're gonna get into stuff, and your stuff's gonna be unswollen, and you're gonna be swimming in everything.
Yeah. Well, we went bowling I bowled for 3 hours on Friday, and then we had bowling on Thursday, and
so what happened there?
Balls to the mouse moved. There we go. I was gonna say something popped up. Yeah, it's like, what are we doing here?
Morning. Sorry.
And then we practiced on the Nationals team pattern. I had to relearn how to throw urethane, and I threw it like an idiot the entire time. And then I realized what I had done wrong the entire time in the car.
Really mad I couldn't make that.
But
because that was 39 foot, correct?
Yeah, we'll do the doubles and singles pattern next Friday. So
is that 44?
It was 44 in 2019, I believe.
So you're gonna make me have to use some surface.
Yeah, probably some surface or just some stronger stuff.
I refuse to put surface on the Ghost.
Yeah.
Unless I absolutely have to.
And that's the other thing, too, is somebody asked me earlier about do you ever throw your ProMotion with surface on it? And you've seen Michael Hagen Jr. Most people throw it with polish on it because with surface on it, it's really early, it's really smooth, it's really slow. It actually is better, I think, with polish on it because it's not quite so early. You have a little bit of shape, but it's still controllable. And it still reads the lane really well with the shine on it. And so I think it's just better ball motion for that ball specifically with shine on it. And here's the other thing. Do you guys change your ball surface with crap? It disappeared. Change your ball surface with a pad or prefer to change balls or manipulate physically with changing hand and speed? And that's a great point.
So that's a great about question. Lane shine and everything else. So
what I like to use, it really depends. I don't like surface a whole bunch, but on something like my Idol Pro, which is a rounder shape.
Yeah.
It's got a stronger, or it's got a more responsive cover formula on it versus the Idol. Mm-hmm. And that's really interesting. That's the Idol and the Idol Pro can teach you a lot about cover stock formulas because they're both solids. They have the same core, but they have very different cover formulas. Microtrax is on the Idol, which is basically Rotogrips NRG, or something similar to it's not quite. Forge Flare is closer to Spec, the Microsoft Polymer or whatever that is.
Kind of reminds me a little bit of a Crux Prime.
Yeah, Crux Prime, because it's very early. It's very smooth, rolly, chuggy, whatever else, but it's very, very consistent.
It's had it.
I mean, you know off your hand exactly what's going to happen.
This ball's either going to hook or it's not.
Yeah, but it's very consistent. It's very readable.
It is. Yep.
Microtrax is something more like Jackal Ghost, so it's a very strong cover, and it's early. It's smooth, but it does have a little bit of shape.
Oh yeah.
E-Trax is closer like Venom Shock cover. So if you think the difference between your Jackal Ghost and Venom Shock, that's going to get you close to Microtrax versus E-Trax.
Okay.
So
on the that's the storm side, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So both of us like lane shine a lot too.
Yeah.
And like the ghost that I currently throw without
Oh,
drilling
man.
another one. Oh yeah.
Thanks, Brian.
Coffee is on me.
Heck yeah.
Has he got a question or anything he wants to throw in here?
No, I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure that's Ilpad.
It is Ilpad. That's right.
Yeah,
It's Brian. It is Ilpad.
Yeah.
I'm not used to that.
Yeah, I know. I'm not either.
But like take the ghost, I will hardly ever put lane or put any surface on it unless I absolutely have to.
The beer is the same
it's
color
close.
as my face.
Aren't you the same way though with lane shine? Don't
Yeah,
you
I like lane shine stuff, even on some tougher patterns, because surface generally makes stuff too early and too smooth for me. I fight getting it down the lane. Like I can control the ball reaction better if I get some push through the front part of the lane, and if I can play a little bit of angle, I can control speeds, rev rates, whatever else easier if I don't have to fight the ball getting down the lane. As soon as I have to fight getting the ball down the lane, then my control or my ability to control what the ball's doing drops significantly. So when I use surface, I really like using reactive scuff, or it would be like
not even if you're just hitting something with hand real quick or with a hand.
Yeah,
hand service?
3,000, 4,000, or I would hit it lightly with a used 2,000 pad or something.
Which is
like that.
basically going to be 3,000.
Yeah, which is going to get you something to work with to begin with. It's going to lane shine back up pretty quick, but it's going to break the original lane shine, give you a little bit fresher surface. So,
2020 PBA Shark 48, your own local center, 6 balls of choice, go. Dang.
Your own local. Okay, so we're going to take Royal Crest then. So Royal Crest is pretty average in terms of it. The surface is really nice there. So a lot of things play well there. So
I'm going to start with you.
So at Royal Crest, because if we're going to Kansas City, then that's going to be different on Summit. If you're at Summit,
Summit is going to hook.
Yeah, it's just going to hook. So you're taking weak stuff. It doesn't really matter.
You're going to take a lot more shiny stuff than you would.
Yeah, you're going to take shiny stuff. You're going to take a bunch of stuff that doesn't make any sense at all for the lane pattern.
I mean, when we bowled Route 66 there, everything hooked.
Yeah. But at Royal Crest, things play truer. So my first ball in the bag is probably going to be an RSTX1 because that's just a nice overall. It's a very physics-like ball. It's round. It's versatile. It's got enough shape for me to work with.
A ProMotion.
Yeah, probably a ProMotion.
Well, I mean, you throw it at spare, so that's basically your spare ball.
Yeah. So the ProMotion's a default. That goes everywhere.
So that's two. That's two.
The dark code is probably going to go because...
Really, on 48 foot?
Yeah, it's a very strong cover.
You don't think it's going to be too much over-under on it?
It's probably going to be too much over-under.
On a 48 foot, yeah.
But if it's something to where I can do just like what I was doing at League, just kind of floating it or fading it through the middle, if surface is too much or it's too early or whatever else, that's something that's 48 feet is long enough that there was actually, I remember on this has been a long time ago, but when Jake Peters won on Badger, he was fading a Primal Rage at box right through the middle. He was just pushing it right through the middle with that much length.
If I remember, he's pretty much giving it the high heater, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
With that much length, if you use too much surface, you're going to get something too early, and there's only 12 feet of lane left, so the ball's not going to have a whole lot of time to react and shape it all. So you might control the pocket with surface and with strong stuff.
Give it a shout out.
Oh, sweet. Bowl for the University of Alabama. We got sponsored by Storm over the offseason. Sweet.
Sorry, didn't even train your thought, but that would be a good shout out for you.
But anyway, so sometimes stronger balls with the shine on them or with some lane shine, if anything, will still give you some traction and will give you the shape at the end of the pattern to get the ball to read correctly, to get the ball to go into the pocket correctly, to hit the pins. Because if you're thinking, okay, well, it's 48 feet at Shark, I need strong. Well, strong also is early. And if you have too early, there's just nothing. The ball's not going to have anything left on it at the pocket. And so you might hit the pocket, but you're not going to be hitting the pocket the right way.
Right.
And so stronger covers, stronger balls, asymmetric stuff that's just that hooks, period, but with the shine on it, I'm still going to get some traction a little bit earlier, but I'm also going to have the shine to give it the right shape into the pocket.
Honestly, my bag wouldn't change a whole lot from what I originally said. I mean, Venom Shock and a Ghost go everywhere with me. So just too. The only thing would probably get thrown in there would be a flare would go for sure. A flare would be in the bag. A flash probably would still go. I might even take a little more shine off the flash. Maybe hit it with another fresh 3000 or something like that. 3004. But
I think that on the left side and the right side, we kind of like to play the lane similar. We like to just give it a little bit of belly. Don't like to go too straight because then again, you can't get that good roll on the ball. It's easier to control your shapes if you give a little bit of room. But yeah, I just kind of like fading it, kind of pushing it through the middle and letting it kind of walk up. So I would have RSTX1, possibly a Proton Physics.
I think a Proton would be a must. Just to have it just in case.
So Dark Code, UFO Alert. And Idle Pro, probably.
Which is the green one, right? Okay.
So it's a little bit cleaner, more responsive cover, but it would still have some surface on it. And so it would be right in between. The Idle with some surface might be a little bit too much too early. And so the Pro is going to give me that nice blend.
Would you take anything hybrid?
The RSTX1.
So the Trident Horizon probably would get a look as well. Trident Horizon might consider. Which racks are worse, Aaron's or Olathe East? Olathe East wins.
Yeah, Olathe East definitely.
Yeah,
because they at least try to adjust them at Aaron's. So,
Aaron's aren't that bad.
Yeah, and GSX racks are just awful.
Yeah,
they're just awful. So,
thank you, Shim. They're not as bad as Olathe East, buddy.
Yeah. Thanks, Jonathan. Don't have a girl. That's all I can say.
Happy Father's Day, you, Lou. On the other, Yep. Don't have a girl.
Yeah. Just don't do it.
You picking the next one here? Which one you want?
Let me see.
Or make Amanda pick it. She's in there.
Yeah.
Surprises.
Give it one of those hash browns, like hash brown Cobra Kai, and send it to the internet.
How about something weaker, like a high road with 1,000? It's a lot of service on a high road.
Monkey it is.
Yep, that might be something that would work out because the high road is a higher. It's a higher RG core, so it's not going to start up super early. It's also a.
Oh, it's darker than I
thought. It's also a medium strength cover, so it's not. The ball of the cover is not something that's going to start up super early. So you can use that in combination with a stronger surface to create something a little bit different. If you take something super diggy like an Idle and you take that to 1,000, it's going to just dig through that volume right up front and look like a wounded duck rolling down the lane. But with big surface on a weaker core, weaker cover, that's how you kind of create those different little nuances in there. Just like Brad throwing we were on the Carmen Salvino pattern that's like 44 feet or something like that at Ward Parkway.
Was that one of the ones I screwed up?
No, I don't think so.
That was Earl Anthony pattern.
Okay. Yeah, so it was
it was screwed up. They laid it over the house.
It was a longer pattern. It was heavier. It was at Ward Parkway.
Makes it even harder.
And Brad Miller was throwing an all road from 4th Arrow. And so everybody's thinking, okay, it's a longer pattern. It's a heavier pattern. We're going to start straight. We're going to go right up 10, right up 8, 9, 10, something like that.
Wasn't the answer.
And he's at 4th Arrow with an all road, which doesn't make sense to anybody on any level. But the lanes are super high friction. Super, super high friction there. So you need to dig through that. So he used something with a stronger cover with some surface on it, but with a weaker core. So he got the traction, the control, and the consistency from the cover, but without a big core in there fighting him for the length. And so that's when those nice...
What was Kyle throwing that day? Do you remember? He was on the Brunswick side at that time.
I can't remember, but that's when people whine about, oh, Storm just keeps using the same covers and same cores and whatever else.
They all do. Newsflash.
Yeah, everybody does. But they target specific reactions. And so when you have an established core that you know what's going on with, you have an established cover that you know what's going on with, it's easier to make bold decisions. And so again, like something like a High Road Max comes, it's like, okay, well, we know what this cover is doing because of the axiom of the proton. We know what this core is about from however long, but it creates that different type of, creates that different kind of shape and look because the axiom and the proton can be way too much ball sometimes. But if you need more cover without a core that's fighting you, because when you, especially on the right side, when you go to move deeper, you know, you don't necessarily want to bowl down across the board. You don't want to go from, if you're in something strong, if you're in like a forged flare, you don't want to have to go down to a super or something like that. If you could have that cover on a weaker core, they still help keep you in that same general look on the lane, something that you still need traction, because as you move in, you're moving away from head and track friction, but you're moving into volume and angle. So if you already have a cover that you like the look of, or if you're using a proton or if you're using an axiom and you go to move in a little bit, you might still need that cover strength. You might still need that traction, but with something that's not going to be so early and so smooth.
Let's see that day I couldn't get anything to hook. I remember that day. That was a miserable day. Miserable day.
Yeah.
Every time I walk in that building, it's miserable. I fight over under in that place no matter what I do.
Yeah, I just match. Angel and I both match up well there for
under.
Whatever reason.
We're into a new beer, by the way. This one is something I picked up.
Flying
Monkey American Ale. I don't know who makes it.
Yep. Flying Monkey, probably.
It says refrigerate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why'd you need to.
I thought that was a bird.
Oh, so that's not the scale that I use for Sport Essential. That's not really a scale. It's a thing that colleges use because most of the time they're working from limited arsenals, and so they always take a spare ball. And then the one ball is going to be their strongest. 2 balls going to be a step down. 3, 4, 5, whatever else. The UFO Alert is a pretty solid 2 ball because it's asymmetric, but it's got a kind of medium strength. It's got kind of a medium strength. Well, it could be used for a very simple scale. It's generally a combination of core strength, cover stock strength, and surface prep. Something like a dark coat is going to be a 1 ball because even with the shine on it, it's going to be at the top of whatever bag you're in. And most of the time, if it's at the top, they're probably going to take the shine off of it. The UFO Alert is a medium. E-Trax is a medium strength cover. It's very similar to Storm's R2S that's on stuff like the Astrophysics and the IQ Emerald, High Road Pearl, stuff like that. And so the UFO Alert, even though it's got an asymmetric core in it, medium strength shiny cover. So that's a 2 ball. That's really solid, just 2 ball. So,
bumped it with my hip.
And
I heard something falling down. I'm like, where is it?
This is the unfortunate thing about it. I know it's not cost effective, but I found it's been great buying and trying a variety of balls. The only way to know what you like and what works for you is to throw it. And this is exactly what we were talking about last week, is that bowling is mostly experience. Because it's so confusing, because it's so hard to understand, most people try to make it as Most people try to make it as mathematic as possible. But the thing about it is bowling's not done on paper. You can make things more mathematical for your own game, but if you try to but sometimes most of the time it's your own personal experience. You have to figure some stuff out. And this is the unfortunate thing about bowling is it's really expensive. It's really hard to learn. It's really hard to get experience. It's really hard to figure all this stuff out because there's so many variables.
Kind of like golf.
Yeah, there's so many variables that it's just ridiculously difficult to figure it out. And I think I'll get to Bryce's question here in a second.
Yep.
And that is
No, we got you, Bryce. We'll take a look at it.
everybody talks about staffers getting free equipment and whatever else. Well, number one, they don't get free equipment. It's very expensive, still expensive. It's more expensive actually to be on staff.
Facts.
No, Bryce, I'll get it. I see it still up there. So the one major benefit of being a staffer is that it makes it more cost effective to get experience.
Mm-hmm.
Staffers pay less per ball, but they kind of expect you to get everything. So you end up spending more on bowling equipment than you would if you weren't on staff.
We do get some free stuff, though.
So,
No, I mean, we do get some.
Yeah.
So it's not we pay for just immediately pay for everything. We do get some free stuff, but it's not like
it's like everybody else getting free stuff. It's
it also depends on what your
advertising,
contract is
marketing.
too.
Yeah, it's advertising and marketing materials. Most staff contracts, you get some free bags and some free, and that's really up front. Once you have a contract for a certain amount of time and you're already you already got accessories, bags, whatever else. It's basically marketing and advertising is what it is.
Guys like Dylan Burns have good deals, and your handlers and
And then of course I get shipped a couple balls for the videos, but I also spend 30 to 40 hours.
We won't go into detail what we get on your stuff.
Yeah. But
kind of like asking what you make.
Yeah.
But each deal, so just to help you out, each contract deal is different based on person and what they offer you. So,
but free is relative.
Yep.
Like I always tell people, you get free money at your
there it is.
You get free money at your job too. You just have to show up and work for it.
100%. All right, Bryce, let's get to your question here, man. So there it is.
Sometimes arsenals can get confusing and look different on multiple different patterns. What should you look for in arsenals or balls that you know will match your play style? This is exactly what I had said earlier in the stream. Angel put it the best that I'd ever heard it before, and it's a concept that I try to explain when getting bowling balls. And I know everybody's, you try to make balls look good in videos, and we don't really try to do that if something's not good. I just try to describe the ball reaction. Something like the parallax effect didn't look good for either of us, but Liz Johnson shot 307.80 with it, winning a PWBA title a couple weeks ago because it's perfect for her game. And Brad likes his quite a bit too.
He does like it, yeah.
So different strokes for different folks.
I mean, that was I think that was the first time it wasn't the first time when he showed up to the Tour of KC that one time and had like 6 brand new balls.
So
one of them was a parallax effect, by the way.
Yeah, it's something that I try to explain, and Angel put it the best I've heard it, is that you need, when you get a new ball, you need to find out what the ball wants to do. So you've got to figure out where it's naturally the most comfortable, whether it's better playing shape, whether it needs more speed, less speed, more revs, less revs, whatever else. So you need to move around, try the ball at a couple different centers, maybe try it with a couple different surfaces, and figure out what the ball likes doing the best. And then past that, you have to figure out, once you figure out what the ball wants, or what the ball wants to do, what it naturally does best, you then have to figure out whether that fits your game or not.
Right.
So
also talk to your local pro shop operator.
So what should you look for in arsenals or balls that you know will match your play style? This is also the thing that I was talking about the real benefit of being a staffer is that you go through a lot of equipment. So you get really familiar with the covers, the cores, layouts, what you like seeing. It's a cheaper experience, basically. And so a lot of it is just gaining experience and figuring out what, not only because what looks good for you can sometimes be different from what you like to see.
100%. Yep.
So what you like to see may not necessarily be something that really fits your game the best. Yep. So even if you like to see a bunch of shape down lane, which I like to see a bunch of shape down lane, it's not as good for my game as something that is a little bit earlier, a little bit rounder, a little bit smoother. That generally works out better, but I can take stuff that shapes a little bit more and make it work in that same type of idea. So stuff that's sharper, like I wouldn't necessarily call the Dark Code sharp. The UFO Alert's a little sharper, the Idle Synergy's a little bit sharper, but they have a rounder shape to them.
Yeah.
So I can take something sharp and I can make it less sharp, basically with the way that I'm throwing
You
it.
say by tricking your hand, yeah.
Yeah, because I can get the dark code to turn sideways if I want to.
Oh yeah,
But
it's them hooks.
I use the
Fun.
natural shape of it and kind of lay out of it to kind of get to both what I like to see and what works for my game the best.
Right.
So a lot of it's experience. You can make it somewhat mathematical within your own game and your own experience, but trying to look at what someone else is doing and see what they're doing, what surfaces they like, what layouts they like, whatever else, and then trying to mathematically apply that to your game, it never works.
Nope.
So what I've figured out that I like are stronger cores, stronger covers, stuff that I can trust to pick up, to hook, to react, and then I can control the rest of it with my hand. If there's not quite enough ball reaction, or I've gotten away from using my ProMotion on my first ball because it's just a little bit too smooth.
Right.
I need something that has that stronger cover, that stronger core, but also shapes a little bit more down lane. That way I can lay out of it a little bit more and I can have a little bit more control over the shapes. If something's a little bit too smooth and I feel like I have to help it to get it to finish or shape right into the pins, that's when I start having problems. So I've figured out that my game is best with Dark Code, UFO Alert, Idle Pro, and Idle Pro is still it's somewhat early and smooth.
UFO Alert is a hybrid, correct?
Yeah, it's a hybrid, but it's shiny and it's a weaker kind of medium strength cover.
Very good looking ball.
Very responsive. But you've kind of figured out your game looks best with, Jackal Ghost, Venom Shock, when the situation calls for it, the Forge Flare.
Mhm.
If you can stay in that little kind of swing zone between second, third arrow and just adjust your shapes from there, because that's what you did in Belton a couple weeks ago, is you kind of stayed on top of the shot the entire time. If you get in too deep, your carry starts to suffer a little bit.
Yep.
And so it's better for you to bowl down into smoother stuff
Instead of moving left and trying to wheel it.
Instead of moving left and try to wheel it and
Yeah.
keep that shape, if you bowl down and get into smoother stuff and you let the combination of the lane friction that you have now, you get into smoother stuff that lets you stay straighter, but the lane friction produces your shape for you.
Yeah, I learned a lot that day, actually. I found out a lot about the VIP Affliction, which is really going to come in handy. Or say a Tour KC doubles where we're bowling 8 games, and I can move right with that thing. For a lot of people, it hooks so much. For me, especially with the drilling that we got on it.
Yeah, we went pinned down.
I can just kind of I can get on top of it, basically.
Mhm.
And it looks so good. So,
and that's another thing that you factor into, different layouts. There was somebody else that said that I like using Venom Shocks, but I'll start with one at 2000 and then ball down into a lane shine one.
Yeah.
And that's something that works well too.
Yeah.
Anthony Simonson has several different idols at different uses.
Mhm.
So one's got 200 games on it, which is, once you get games on something, it's going to tame down. It's going to settle down. It's going to get smoother. It's going to get less
unless it's
aggressive. So yeah. So it's still going to roll the ball. The general ball roll and reaction is going to be about the same. It's just going to be a little bit tamer.
Mhm.
And so if you have a dead fresh idol versus a 200 game old idol, they're going to react. They're going to shape similar.
Yeah.
They're going to be in the similar
One's going to be
idea.
pretty earlier, or a lot earlier than
But
the
yeah,
other,
the dead fresh one's going to be earlier and a little bit sharper, just a little bit more aggressive overall.
Yeah, I do think you hit the spot though, right? Like that day at Belton, I think I found something out not only about my equipment but my game as well, where it fits me what I need to do on those long blocks instead of chasing it left.
Yeah.
Is trying to find a way to stay on top of it instead of getting left and wheeling it. So,
So then
made a
you
difference.
use, and it can be an Affliction at one point. It can be a Forge Flare at another
and
point.
it can be a ripcord flight.
Yeah, the Ripcord Flight too is kind of right in the middle there too. So.
And I'll see what the new ripcord looks like here soon too. So, but
Yep. So.
you want another one? It's up to you.
Possibly.
Okay, I'll do one
Yeah.
more if you want.
Yep.
You got a little bit left. We can wait a minute. Oh,
What's that?
Water there too.
Yeah, not helpful if you're shooting 158, 258.
who's that?
Storm B28.
I can do that real quick.
Yeah.
I don't think that's your goal.
I can do that real quick. Yep, no problem. Thanks, that was very helpful. Yeah, man.
Yep, no problem, Bryce. And it's just the unfortunate thing in bowling is that it requires a lot of experience. And you can talk for days on explaining layouts and surfaces and cover formulas and cores and whatever else, but ultimately you're the one that has to figure out how that all comes together to benefit your game.
Yep.
That's just and like I said, it's
no, they're Fritos.
yeah, Fritos, yeah. Pork rinds sound great.
Well, that's another
though.
thing too. Like you're saying though, is big thing is not only learning your equipment, but what do you do with your equipment when, especially when you bowl a longer block? Looking at just outside of a 3 games,
Mm-hmm.
what do you need to see your equipment do in transition? That's the big thing. So,
Yeah, so
and you can learn a lot about your equipment. Some of your stronger stuff can be used. You can trick your hand and still without getting so far left. Sorry, in my case, you can even still kind of fluff it, and it can still do the same thing.
yeah, great point. You have to go bowl a lot. Yeah,
That's a fact.
that's what it is. You have to just get out there and do it. And that's the other thing that I didn't understand early is when people are talking about, well, I'm going to bowl my first tournament. I'm nervous. What should I do? It's like, well, you should just write off your entry number 1.
And just go bowl.
If you get money back, great. The seasoned tournament bowlers, like when we go to tournaments, we're going to tournaments to try to win. I'm still going to tournaments to try to learn and figure out what I'm doing on the left side of the lane and learn. It's so much different. The left side for me is so much different than the right side. So each side of the lane is different to begin with, but what I like to do on each side of the lane is completely different too. Because I used to like to get deep and slow roll it on the left side. The easier I can get out of the ball. So equipment's different, layouts are different, angles are different, how I play the lanes are different, the sides of the lanes are different to begin with. And so I'm having to relearn all this stuff over again. And so I would like to do well in these tournaments, but ultimately I'm upset if I don't throw the ball well. If I throw the ball well and I don't score, whatever else, or if if I find where the shot is or what the ball is and where the shot is, and I just can't hit it. That's frustrating, but I'm still in learning mode. Mm-hmm. And so you have to get out there and you just have to do it. You have to figure out the tournament thing is you don't know what you don't know. So if people go into, well, I'm not good enough to go bowl tournaments yet, that may be true, but
you really don't know until you go.
You don't know. If you don't go bowl the stuff, you don't know what you need to work on. That's the ultimate problem, is that you need to go find out what your problems are, what your issues are, where you're deficient in. Is it on the fresh? Is it on the burn? Is it on certain patterns? Is it certain houses? Is it not understanding your equipment well enough? Is it being unprepared? Is it being nervous? Is it not having the mental fortitude or the courage to make a move when you know it's like, well, this doesn't look good. And that's the other thing too, is that when you go out and practice and try to get physically better, if you have what looks like suspect ball reaction, but you can't throw the ball well enough to read it, you're wasting several frames. Mm-hmm. Like the pros, this is the big thing for the pros too, is that they throw it well enough that they can tell when it's them, when it's the lane, when it's the ball choice. And so they can make moves a whole lot faster because they're getting critical information a whole lot faster. Yep. If it takes you 4 or 5 frames to throw a good shot to get a decent read on something, you just lost 4 or 5 frames. Mm-hmm. And something, people tell me it's like, well, that ball doesn't look great. And it's like, well, I haven't thrown it good enough yet to find out whether it's the ball or not. If any ball I'd be using right now, I'm not getting any information right now. So I have to throw it good first. And then once you throw it good, then you've got to take a couple frames to see it. Okay, well, I got that one in a little bit. Did it hold? Or I got that one out a little bit. Did it pick up? It just like, I bowled the KC tournaments go to Belton quite a bit. And it's really, it's tough on the left side of the lane. I don't have a whole lot of room to work with, but it's helped me out a whole bunch on reading ball reaction, making adjustments earlier, making adjustments sooner, all this familiarity, all this consistency from shot to shot.
So you're not the only one that thinks that. Trevor thinks the exact same thing.
Yeah, Brandon Carlson's just a freak. That's all there is to it.
But he doesn't light that place up. It's Lunar that he lights up.
Yeah, and Brandon's just got the perfect lefty Kansas City game because everything's high friction. He throws it hard. He hooks it a bunch, but he keeps it in front of him too. That's the thing, is that he keeps his angles really tight. He might give it a little bit of belly and he can get in and hook it if he needs to.
Just throws it hard and turns the crap out of it.
Yeah, and he doesn't. That's the other thing, is that he doesn't miss. I mean, he just hits the same thing over and over again, but he ignores all the early friction, and then he's got enough tip down lane
He
to
just
give
throws
him.
it harder.
Yeah. So
He just throws it hard and turns the crap out of it on the left side of the lane. So, which I'm surprised he doesn't bowl in Lawrence. James actually had a good question.
Oh, yeah. As a contrast, I play things very differently. Can you talk through your perception of why my default bag is? Yeah. Okay, so there's two of them I'll get to because I'm a lefty apologist now. I told people I wasn't going to be this annoying guy that kind of that gets on a bandwagon or whatever else, but the left side is quite a bit different. Something, yeah, dude, at Royal Crest, holy crap!
All right, I'll get a spin.
Yeah.
I'll let you tackle James' question there.
So the first time that James came to Kansas City, I was when I was still bowling right-handed. We didn't see anything close to similar at all, and we figure out that now that we understand each other's games, he can help me with stuff and I can help him with stuff, but we don't see our games are really different. Even when I was on the right side, our games are really different. And so we see things extremely differently, or how things apply to our games very differently. So, oh gosh, Storm B28, and I've got the holy crap, dude. Collegiate bowlers, dude. I'll get to that in a second. So I've got a bunch of good stuff here. So James he's got a high rev rate, but he's got a lot of speed too. So stuff that generally works out well for him doesn't work out that great for me. So yeah. And when he came to bowl at Olathe East the first time, literally still the one time to this day, and he knows it now too that he's bowled there several times, the move is always left at Olathe. The move is always left to right, get the ball through the fronts, whatever else. The one time it has ever been right was the first time he was out here. And so we talked through some things. I told him, okay, we'll do this and whatever else. And he listened to me, and it didn't work out for him at all. Now also things that he has thought, or he has decided to do on his own volition or whatever, haven't worked out either, but hashtag Kansas City. That happens to everybody. Yep. Yeah, I've got to tackle that right now. There's so many collegiate bowlers. It's like they'll throw one shot, and then the next they'll throw one shot, hit 8 at the break point. Next shot, they'll hit 11. It's like, oh, well, that ball jumped a little bit, so I'm going to make a 2-on-1 left. It's like, no, you missed almost an arrow left. You have to pay attention to what's going on here. You can't just say, well, I was looking at this and the ball did this. Like, you can be looking somewhere, but if you're not hitting that, then your moves are stupid.
And they throw urethane everywhere.
Yeah.
Did you hit that one?
Yeah. I'm getting there. But James's stuff like the Axiom, if I tried it again, I would need a different layout, I think.
About evening out right there. When you're ready, I'll give it that one. Actually, you can just drink it out of the bottle if you want.
Yeah. Zipline Brewing Company. Just Zipline IPA. Just Zipline IPA. This stuff's pretty good too, though.
That is actually really good. Okay.
So my Axiom, I didn't get to throw it much because it was too much too early. For James, who's got higher speed, he gets it through the front part of the lane a whole lot easier. Something that kind of balances his natural game. The inside, I've used mine some too. I find that the RST is a little bit more versatile, a little bit more controllable for me, but they're in the same kind of general idea. The Zen is another one that was perfect for me when I filmed, and then I couldn't ever just get lined up with it afterwards because it's just too much ball, too much of everything. But being symmetric, it didn't have the kind of the torque down lane that I need to see from. So if I tried to play out, it was a little bit too early, and as soon as I got in, I had to really get around it to get it to pick up and go. But I tried a 4.5 inch pin up, and that was just not a good layout for that ball. So I need to do something different with that ball. I think it'd look a whole lot better if I went pin and ring or pin down or something, because it's just so much ball across the board. It hooks a bunch, plus it booms a bunch down lane. So I need something that's a little bit further down the lane. Generally, earlier stuff doesn't work for me, no matter whether it's boomy or whether it's smooth. If it's early, that's going to be a problem for me. So yeah, the Zen's just a ton of ball across the board. But it doesn't have that asymmetric torque to where I can just fly out of it like I can something like a Dark Code or a UFO Alert.
I'll bring in 5 R2S balls, Casey.
Yeah. So yeah, people making moves off mediocre shots, you have to know. I mean, and that's what some people tell me. It's just like, well,
you have to know when it's not good.
Yeah, right? And the other thing is that people watch. The other thing that gets me is when they have Specto on the PBA. It's like, oh, well, they hit the same. The lanes are probably transitioning because they hit the same target and they hit the same rev rate, which Specto doesn't measure rev rate worth of crap at all. Because you can't tell me on the King of the Lanes Empress thing, when Daria was just slaughtering the ball at the bottom, that she's at 420 rev rate.
I found out why she does that, because of her arms double jointed.
Yeah.
It like bends up.
Yeah, but they put Norm Duke. This is the thing here, is that whenever Norm Duke's on TV, his rev rate's always 375, 420, or 400 according to Specto.
No way.
And Daria's only getting 420.
No.
I mean,
I don't think it measures ball speed that well either.
It was off by at least 50 revs, 50 to 75 revs.
Then they have Galante throwing at like 17 miles an hour, and there's no way.
Yeah, so it was, but whether it's off or not, it is. I think it's fairly consistent. It's just consistently off.
Yeah.
But it's consistent from shot to shot, and if they say, okay, well, they hit the same target at the arrows, they hit the same target at the break point. Revs were similar, speed was similar. Oh, the lanes are transitioning. Well, Specto doesn't read axis tilt. Specto doesn't read angle of rotation. There's all these extra little things that you can. So even if you hit, well, I hit my targets.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but if you come at the back of one and get around another one, or if you dump one, or if you add tilt, or if you let go of it late and have more tilt, that's stuff that's gonna affect. Or if you have less tilt, it always. More tilt, or more of a straight up end over end roll versus the ball kind of tilted a little bit. All that stuff's going to have an effect on ball reaction too. So you can't just look at it. Well, I hit my marks. Well, yeah, but you didn't throw it the same as you hit your marks of the frame before, but you didn't throw it the same. So it's not the lane that's transitioning. It's your inconsistency that's causing the problems. And so when somebody on tour, well, they hit the same. I think that lane's just transitioning, or that lane's tightening up down lane. It's like, well, no, they didn't. Screw the Specto numbers. They didn't throw the ball the same. So, Parker Bones, a 389 rev rate. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So for the guys, I think it overestimates the rev rate, and for the women, it underestimated it. Because there's no freaking way Daria's 420. I mean, on that show, she was 520 pretty easily. I mean, she doesn't quite EJ rev it, but if you go back, if you actually are interested enough in this to go do some comparisons of watch how fast the ball was revving for Daria, and then you go watch EJ revs it up more than Daria does. But Daria doesn't miss it. She just doesn't miss it at the bottom. She was annihilating it on that Empress.
Revs it up more.
On that Empress show, but you can't tell me that's 420 and you go watch Norm Duke and it's 375 or 400. No.
AJ probably gets more at the bottom than she does too.
Yeah, AJ Johnson gets more of it, but it's not 125, 150 more.
No.
anyhow.
You need to find out what my rev rate is. Can you tell them how to do that? You know how to do that without? Is there an easy way to do it? Not
Rev
really
rate's
easy.
pretty well. It can be easier. It can be difficult because if you have a stronger ball that revs up more, your rev rate's going to look different. And that might have something to do with it too, because generally what you do is the easiest way to do it is take a slow-mo video, put a piece of tape on the ball, and you then count how many times it revolves, and it's just a math formula. So if it rotates fully 15 times in 3 seconds, then you can do the math and kind of extrapolate that from that. But if you have a stronger ball that actually revs up, it's going to make you look like you have more revs than you do. So
Yep.
yeah, smartphone and a piece of tape.
We really have a whole lot of more questions in there. I've just been kind of sitting here letting you do your thing and drinking beer.
Yep. Let's talk about the Idol Synergy and why it's the most underrated SPI ball currently on the market. The Idol core, the Icon core, is very early, very round, but it's also a little bit straighter off the end of the pattern. The Synergy has a medium strength, pretty responsive cover type, cover formula. Even though it's a hybrid, it acts like most people would think a stereotypical pearl does. It's long and it's flippy. But it does that with a rounder shape. And so while it's long and flippy, it's a rounder shape. It's still more controllable look overall.
Yeah.
It just clears the fronts and give you decent shape into the pins down lane. But it doesn't require you to open up your angles and swing it a bunch like a lot of other stuff. So it's just a very user-friendly, versatile, universal type of ball that's going to be in play for most bowlers on most conditions, without forcing them too far outside their games. Like, it's going to give length and shape to people. People with a lower rev rate. It's going to give them extra boom than what they normally have. For bigger rev rates, people that like to play the entire lane, it's going to get down the lane. It's going to shape for them, but it's going to be a rounder shape. It's not going to be it's still a strong core.
Your tilt comes into play too.
Yeah.
Tilt can make a big difference.
So would using a plastic ball give you a more accurate reading of rev rate?
Maybe.
Yes and no, but you generally can't use a plastic ball to figure out your positive axis point. I don't know exactly why that is. But you always want to use something reactive to get either your rev rate or your positive axis point, because it's just going to be different on a plastic ball.
Yeah.
And I don't really have a good explanation for why that is, but
Okay.
yeah, the RST is definitely slept on too.
Did we miss anything in here?
I don't think so. I think we're in pretty good shape. I think we're caught up pretty well. I need to get into my.
I'm launching away over here. Sorry about that. Double check.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you have it for a second.
You're good.
Mm-hmm.
I wish my plan about DC stops makes it more user friendly for me. Sorry, guys. I'm going back through and make sure we didn't miss anything in the chat as I'm eating some Fritos here. There's a ton of ball.
They talked about a couple storm balls that they think are slept on. What are some motive ones? He's gone.
Some motive ones, a couple storm balls that are slept on, a couple motive ones that are slept on. Honestly, everything that was slept on has got DC'd. So it's sad to say that, but on the motive side of stuff, we've had to discontinue so much good stuff because everything is selling so much on the high end of the stuff, like your Jackal Flashes, your Trident Horizons that are new, balls like that. So since we're a company by ourselves, unlike Storm where they have 3 brands and a bigger manufacturing plant, we're going to focus on where we're selling more, which right now we're selling more at the top. Like the Tank Blitz should have never been discontinued. I'm sorry. The Tank Blitz should have never have gone anywhere.
And that was right after you signed too.
But I've got one.
Yes.
So the Tank Blitz should have never gone anywhere. The Supra should still be being produced. The most slept on ball probably would be the Supra. I'm I'm sure a lot of people. Rogue Assassin, there you go. Rogue Assassin but it's almost 2 years old now. But I do have one of those blank. So
What do you think is probably it's been discontinued, but still is in people's bags?
discontinued, but still is in people's bags. I mean, that has to be a Tank Blitz. The Tank Blitz is one of those it's
Not
looks
a covert?
like a covert revolt. I've never thrown one, so I can't say it.
But have you seen, of the motive people, I want this?
I see more Tank Blitzes.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. The Tank Blitzes would be one. I don't know what's your opinion on radical headhunting motive. Using intentional missing. You know what? I'm going to be nice and try not to comment too much on it. Every company has their own faults and their own good things that they do. Just attacking one in particular, the way that it was attacked is not the way to go about it. So, but yes, the most underrated ball. Yeah, no. But we thank them for purchasing our equipment. So, to use that video. But yes, I would think the Supra, in my opinion, is one that definitely should have never gone anywhere. Supra, Tank Blitz. Yeah, I try to get up some drama. Sorry, not doing it. I seen a Cruel Friday Night, and I was like, wow, yeah, Cruel's a good one. Rogue Assassin's another one that somebody says it's really, really good one. Tank Blitz. Like even Luke will tell you the Tank Blitz is one of those because it's microcell, but it's a stronger microcell polymer. It looks good on sports stuff, especially shorter sports stuff. So anyway, ahead. I was taking your channel over while you were going, doing your thing.
Go for it.
At least you didn't knock over the hair straightener.
Yeah.
I did that. Anyway, so to anybody on here, I'm just curious, do these sound any different than what they usually do? Like, does this sound different if it's here compared to laying down here? Just curious. For those that are still with us here, we got 49 of them.
Yep.
Talking the microphone wise, sound quality. Because I can see it. I mean, it's hearing us really well.
Mm-hmm. Got a little
That's a little receiver that shows. So if you can see us talking here, as you can see me bouncing up and down there, just louder.
Output meter here. So yeah, these are pretty freaking cool.
Yeah, and it shows you your battery life on each one.
Yeah.
What's your opinion on the Forge Fire? The Forge Fire, I honestly do not throw a whole lot because it never looks bad reaction wise, but I can't figure out how to knock 10 back with it. How about that?
Mm-hmm.
So looks good going down the lane, but I can't figure out how to get it going through the pins the right way. It's actually drilled the exact same way as my Venom shot. So sounds fine in both locations. It will be clear the closer it is to you, but it's fine regardless. I can try and hold it like that.
Yeah.
I can sit here and hold it like this the rest of the way. Attention. Your attention,
They can
please.
hear me crunching just fine.
Sorry, that's why I felt bad doing that earlier
Yeah,
when you were sitting there chitting. No, it's fine. No worries.
So I'm gonna need food.
Yeah, pulling right up to your mouth sounds different. Mics do sound good though. So I will.
Yep. And once we get these all set up for the phones and we take them out and do some live streams with them, probably Friday night,
yeah, that's the game plan.
we'll have them all ready to go as long as you can get off work.
I should be. It was a rough week. So
So that'll probably wrap up about what we have to talk for this week. And I hate to talk about this stuff just to get down to it and say, well, we can talk about this stuff for days, but most of it comes down to personal experience.
Yeah. Everybody sees different things with their own eyes too, though.
Yeah.
So, yep.
And so, yeah, that's what I try to describe things as well as I can on ball videos, but some people are going to see things differently. Even there's a lot of times where I'll take balls out and I'll get film for them and I'll write the review and then I'll get them on video. I'm like, well, they look different than how they feel. Like I put up my UFO versus UFO alert video yesterday. Mm-hmm. Even though I have the UFO it's really early. It's really strong. Yep. And you had one, so
Oh, yeah.
It's really early. It's really strong. It's pretty smooth. It looks quicker in the video than the alert does, which is weird. The alert looks rounder.
Did you do a comparison video?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to have to get on there and look.
But I've got different ratings on them and they feel a whole heck of a lot different than they look on video. Part of it is the UFO footage I had was at Gage, and the alert footage is at Royal Crest, so that's going to make it look different.
Right.
But
yeah, that's a big difference. Yeah, we can definitely play with the mics on Friday because we're going to do, what is the game plan Friday we're talking about?
The national 2019 double and singles pattern.
The longer one, correct? Okay.
Friday night, taking a look at some stuff, getting some practice in.
Yeah, because we can try and hook these up and give live thoughts.
Yep.
So.
Yep. I'm gonna have to watch my mouth.
Be kind of cool sitting here, being able to do some live stuff. I need to excuse Joel. Yeah.
Powers.
Yep. I do think we should do something fun and do a tournament.
Yeah.
Live commentary. You might want to look out.
We need to
tables.
We need to do league one of these weeks. We need because our
Thursday night league.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our scratch. We have a scratch doubles league on Thursday night.
Yeah.
We bowl 4 games, but it's 2-person. It's doubles league, so it doesn't take very long to get through.
Yeah, we can do that.
So we could live stream league one night and put our mics on or whatever.
Yeah,
that could be a lot of fun because we've been bowling pretty good aside from my last week.
We're both probably top 5 in average.
Yeah.
At least.
Now I would say, yeah. I got mine. I shot 10-20 on Thursday.
You should be right where I'm at now, right?
You shot 990 the first week, and then what'd you shoot this last week?
920. I'm still right around 230.
Yeah, it's still 230. So you've been a whole lot more consistent than I have.
You want to answer that? Any tips for an amateur trying to get on staff?
Number one, you've got to realize what a staff position is to begin with. It's for, and there's all kinds of people that say, "Oh gosh, I don't know why that guy's on staff." Well, he's probably on staff because he sells the equipment. To get on staff, you are a representative of the company. So you need to know the equipment well. You need to be able to sell the equipment, to help people out, to help people figure out what they want, what they need. You're basically, a representative of the company.
Yep.
So
100%.
It's not, a lot of people think it's okay. Well, when I get to be a good bowler, then I'm going to get the staff deal. They look at it as kind of like a stepping stone or kind of like an achievement for where they're at in their bowling career. Or, It's like, okay, I've got a staff deal. Now I've made it. It's like, well, that doesn't really have anything to do with anything because there's a lot of people that aren't great bowlers that have staff deals because they're great pro shop operators or they're great coaches.
Correct.
Or they're great something else. They're in a position to positively reflect the values of the brand and show off the equipment, advertise the equipment, help people pick out equipment.
And being able to answer questions when people come up to you. Be approachable. Being approachable is another one.
Yeah.
You can't be a jerk. So,
yeah. You want to be a good representative for the brand.
Yep. It's, social media stuff is really good. You don't have to be, they've got really good players that are not on staff with people, and there's reasons why. So
you definitely want to know your regional rep. If you send something into the company and they don't know who you are, you're probably not going to get a deal.
Nope.
So you need to be out bowling stuff. You need to be in a pro shop, or you need to be out bowling a bunch of stuff. You need to know who your regional rep is.
Yep.
Because if they start asking, if they get an app, even if you send the application to your regional rep, every region has their reps for each different brand or whatever. And even if you send your application to the rep, if you send them to just a general corporate email address, you're not going to get anywhere. It's just not going to happen. So if you send it to a regional rep and they don't know who you are, and if everybody that they ask, they're going to ask the rest of their people, "Hey, I got this application. Do you bowl with this person? You know who they are. If they've never heard of you, you're probably not going to get a deal," because that's what it's based on. If they start talking to people, it's like, "Oh yeah, I know them. They bowl everything. They're pretty good. Whatever else." It's based on your reach too. Like, I was just a local league bowler. I took over the pro shop here, and my regional rep, who I didn't know at the time, knew my boss really well, Jesse.
Yep.
And Jesse said, "Oh yeah, he'll be good. Give him a shot." And so then I started making videos for stuff. And then once I got out of the pro shop, the videos or the YouTube channel is why I'm on staff. It's definitely not because of who I am as a bowler. I bowl a lot of stuff, but I don't win things. I can count my entire life the number of bowling tournaments I've won on one hand. And I don't even
Really, including youth?
Yeah, I don't even need all my fingers. I'm really good at getting second place. That's what's on these glasses, by the way. You see that says down there.
Second place.
Second place. I'm really good at getting second place.
Actually, that's a fact right there. Cheaper balls are nice. They end up being cheaper. You just end up with a huge pile of balls. You don't throw it, taking up space in your dining room, just pissing off your wife. Oh, yeah, that's true. My wife can contain to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a basement full of bowling balls don't pay the bills.
Nope. They don't pay the bills. They just get in the way.
So specifically what I'm on staff for right now, I got on staff because I was managing a pro shop.
Yep.
And could directly affect sales. Now I transitioned into the YouTube channel thing. I'm a fair bowler. I can pop in a few scores every once in a while, but it's not like my actual bowling career is getting anything done. I'm more the marketing, advertising, customer relations. I'm used to being in a pro shop, and this is basically like an online pro shop, pretty much.
Through this platform, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so it's just... this is, I feel, mostly representing the brand well, I guess.
I'd say you do a pretty good job, yeah. I'd say you do pretty good.
It's not all about moving equipment. It is about there's a way to do it though, and that's what I've always said. If you have the staffers that say that every new ball that comes out hits like a truck and it's a must-have ball, well, that's just inaccurate.
Please don't do that.
It may be great for me, it may be terrible for you, but that's why we have a couple different brands and like 30 some odd balls in the catalog right now. And so it's my job to help you figure out either for something you need or something you want.
Right.
Because not all bowling ball purchases, I drill stuff all the time because I just want to drill the ball. Not because I actually need anything. I've got a basement full of bowling balls. I don't need any new bowling balls, but if I really want to drill something, I'm going to drill it just because it's fun.
Yeah, I mean, you got more down there than I do.
So the bottom line is
it's starting to tack up now. So
yeah. The bottom line is either helping you out with what you need, what you want, helping you enjoy bowling in the way that you enjoy it. And if you enjoy throwing storm stuff, I'm the guy to talk to. If you enjoy throwing motive stuff, he's the guy to talk to.
Talk to me, or if Riley's doesn't seem to be in here today.
Yeah.
So
a pet peeve of mine hits like a truck.
You can always reach out to me on Facebook if you're on the motive side. Just search Jonathan Hawes on Facebook. You can reach out to me. So here's some Storm Staffer can't throw a Venom Shot, can't throw a Jackal Ghost Lebowski. Exactly.
That's a bummer, man.
I know, right? Is there a time of year that most companies go through a signing process?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Storm is calendar year. So our contracts start on January 1st and end on December 31st.
Same way as Motive. So,
and I think the Brunswick brands actually go May to May.
Brunswick is weird.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're weird. But yes, January 1 to December 31st. Yeah.
So it looks like you're a Motive guy by your profile picture.
Nice choice.
So,
got any questions? You can reach out to me on Facebook, man.
I would find your regional rep. Whoever
we only have one.
Oh, Brett.
He's in control of all staff players.
I would get to know Brett Spangler. I would send him a friend request. I would talk to him. I would start promoting Motive equipment on Facebook, Instagram, start putting videos on Facebook, YouTube, whatever else, and do the work up front. There's a lot of people that just like, okay, well, I want a staff contract, and if you give me a contract, then I'll start doing all this other stuff. That's not how it works. That's not how it works anywhere with anything ever. And I don't know why bowlers have such a backwards understanding of it.
Or a Zen shim.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I know any Storm staffers around me. Tons of Motive guys because I'm in Michigan. Yeah, you're probably a little flooded there being Michigan. So I'm holding this a little closer just so I can go back and listen to it so I can hear it out and see what the difference is between the table and here. Usually we would plug these in on their shirts, but they kind of just go hang down
Mhm.
because these little boxes are heavy. So, all right, I think we're about done.
Yep.
So, absolutely zero wrong with throwing motive. Thank you, Brian.
Yep.
Ilpad.
If I wasn't throwing Storm, I'd be throwing Motive.
Luke threw a covert revolt, didn't you?
Oh my God. Covert Revolt.
Jackal Ghost cover, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Covert Revolt. Sigmature. Silver Tribal.
He says, yes, sir. I've reached out to Brett a couple times and no response. I'm posting on Facebook and Instagram. Posted my first ball review on YouTube yesterday. It looks rough, but it's a start. You got to start somewhere, man.
Yeah. And that's the thing. If he doesn't, they get.
You got to remember, Brett Spengler is not only he's the national tour
Yeah,
rep
he's
as
everything.
well as he does everything. Our staffers, we order through him, so it's one of those that guy gets flooded with everything. So don't get your feelings hurt if he doesn't respond right away.
He gets about I'm sure he gets the same amount of thirsty people slide into his DMs as Daria and Diana, and
You also got to remember
whatever
too,
else,
if you
so.
fill out a Motive staff application, he's the one that reads it and responds to you. So
Mhm. So
Motive solids are unreal good. Yes. 100. If I could react to that, 100 or this.
no comment on B7. What is B7? I don't get it.
Yep.
I'm missing out. I'm sure that there's some reference that I'm just completely spacing right now, but
Is this something from Discord?
I think I've seen the B7 reference.
Amanda, do you know what
I
B7
don't
is?
get the B7 reference. So
Ray, you want to come say goodbye?
just done. Yeah.
We're going to let
Happy Father's Day.
the little one that made me a father here. Happy Father's Day to Luke as well. Little
Even
one that
my-
made me a father here. I want to give
Even
her.
my son-in-law.
Careful. Okay, come here. Brunswick. Oh, B7.
Oh, B7. Okay.
There we go. Say hi.
Hi.
You don't have to lean towards the mic. It's
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you to this little one for making me dad.
Yeah, because Amanda had absolutely nothing to do with it.
No, she didn't.
Yep.
You can have it.
Frito.
You're the Frito Bandito.
Yep.
Maisel. Thank you again to Rode
That dog. Yeah.
for sending us these mics.
Yes. Thanks a bunch to Rode. These are going to come in super, super handy when
Yeah.
we're doing live streams and stuff. So this is going to be.
Yep. Yeah, we really, we can hear you crunching.
Yeah.
We really appreciate it and look forward to using them more. I think we are. Hi, Ray. James said hi.
Mhm.
Say hi, James.
Hi, James.
Mhm.
I think we're going to try and stream a Thursday night doubles.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, whether or not it's this
We're going to
Thursday or
need to
not,
get us
but yeah,
another
we might as
lapel
well.
first, but
Yeah.
we'll get us a lapel going.
We'll figure it out.
Okay.
One of these times we got another month and a half left to league for doubles. So yeah, it'd be an easy, fun thing to stream and
Yep.
have going on. So
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Big B anymore because big bowling is a thing. Yeah. True. You can't use Big B anymore. I'm old James.
mm-hmm.
Can you say hi, YouTube?
Hi, YouTube.
You don't have to.
Yeah.
Hi, YouTube.
Your hair is a hot mess. Child. My
Yeah.
goodness.
Yeah.
Sorry. She woke up like this.
Mhm.
I forgot to brush my hair.
Yeah, I noticed.
Mhm.
Don't move the camera or table. Oh,
Yeah.
that was Luke. Well, happy Father's Day, everyone. You can you see Luke's Discord
Yep.
link there in the chat.
Yep. Join Discord. We have nerdy conversations like this all the time.
Yep. Check out Rode on the website or on their website. I think it's just roadmicrophones.com.
Yeah. If you
or
need microphones
Google
for
Rode.
anything.
Yep.
And these you can use these to record to whatever else. So
Yep. And these
Great.
hold you can record on these, and I think they hold 24 hours long or
yeah.
longer of recording time. I think is what it is.
Yep.
So, but we don't have these set on recording us right now. So
Plug and play, super easy to set up.
Yep.
Um,
don't tell
you can
Amanda
use them.
that.
I
She'll throw
think,
the tables at you.
yeah.
Exclamation point table.
Yeah.
So thanks everybody. I guess we're gonna sign off here. Or
Yep.
it's up to you if you want to tackle it or not.
Yeah. Difference in reaction between ProMotion and Crux Prime both have spec cover. Pretty different. The cores create a pretty different look for those. The Crux Prime is a lot more like a Forged Flare, and the the ProMotion's like a smoother IQ Tour Solid. So, so short answer there. But yes, I do have some comparisons on my channel now that James is a spec fan, has a ProMotion
Look
and a Crux Prime
out.
again. I'm sure he's been watching some of my videos, and I did compare them in several different videos. So they do shape quite a bit differently. So
Oh, we're starting to blur up there.
so yep.
All right, you're gonna go
You're
get some,
blurry now.
let's see if the Rode microphones fix it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
No,
Maybe.
that's all right. We're signing off anyway.
Yeah.
Everybody, have a great Father's Day. If you drink beer, have a beer on me.
Yep. We will see next time.
It's just wait.
Yeah.